And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Fanboys, LeBron James, fanboys. Let's just get right into this. Let's get right into some truth. So everybody has heard about the comments Daryl Morey made about the bubble championship. He said it will forever be marked by an asterisk. And this is facts, my people. This is 100% facts. That bubble Disney ring will forever be marked by an asterisk. And we've seen several people comment on this. I even saw Rob Parker and the Odd Couple comment on this. I saw Sports and Fitness Rants talk about the 2020 Bubble Championship, and he brought out a lot of good points. So I want to throw my 2 cents in, but before I do, let's check out this article from Yahoo Sports. It says, Daryl Morey says the LeBron's Laker bubble title will forever be marked by an asterisk. It's been 5 years since the NBA went into a bubble on the Disney campus in Orlando to keep COVID out while crowning an NBA champion. In a look back at the bubble at the Athletic, NBA executive Daryl Morey, at the time with Houston, now the head of basketball operations with Philadelphia, said that the title LeBron James and the Lakers won in the bubble should come with an asterisk. Quote, had the Rockets won the title, I absolutely would have celebrated it as legitimate, knowing the immense effort and resilience required. Yet, everyone I speak to around the league privately agrees that it doesn't truly hold up as a genuine championship. Perhaps the lasting legacy of the NBA bubble is that the NBA should be proud of its leadership at both the beginning and end of the pandemic, even though the champion will forever be marked by an asterisk. That feels like some revisionist history by Morey. Then Lakers assistant Phil Handy felt that way and fired back at Morey. Says one big takeaway at the time and discussed at the time was that this was the highest level of playoff basketball anyone could remember. That was due to a few reasons. The COVID forced mid-season time off to rest players' bodies, the lack of travel to wear people down, and the lack of distractions and focus on basketball. The challenge was more mental as players were stuck in the bubble and away from their families, missing the feeling of normal life. So was the rest of the world, people. LeBron's Lakers and Jimmy Butler's Heat handled that mental part best, which is why they played for a ring. Now, that's about enough for the article. So, one thing that was said in the article that I agree with to a certain extent. Now, first of all, let me say this. That championship, just out of the circumstances, I believe would have forever been marked with an asterisk. How could it not? It was during a pandemic. How could it not? It was during a time where the world as a whole felt uncertain. We didn't know how far that thing was going to go, how many people it was going to take. There was no way to know. So it was a very uncertain time for humanity. So just due to that and due to the circumstances of the bubble, of them having to be isolated, of them playing in an arena with no fans. If you remember, they had the electronic fans there. I disagree with them saying it was some of the best basketball because I thought it just felt weird. I didn't watch it and think to myself, wow, this is some of the best basketball I've seen. How could I? LeBron James was playing, for goodness sake. But anyway, yes, all those things were going on. So without a doubt, more so than any other championship ever won, you can talk about championships that were won during lockout seasons and negotiations. You know, if you want to talk about 99 and some of the other championships that happened during that, they weren't like this. So just due to that fact, due to the pandemic, yes, that championship will forever come with an asterisk. But now he said something. He said, had the Rockets won the title, I absolutely would have celebrated it as legitimate. Now, obviously, he's saying that because at the time he was with Houston. But for me, had Miami won the championship, I would have respected it more. And thus, we get to the title and the topic of today's video, people, that the main reason that bubble chip is not respected is because LeBron James won it. And like I said, shout out to Sports and Fitness Rants. I watched his video. He brought out a lot of good points. And, you know, first of all, like I said, the world was in chaos. The world was in this feeling of uncertainty. So, you know, a lot of players didn't even want to be there. Let's start with that. A lot of players didn't even want to be there. Me personally, as a fan, I felt they should have canceled the rest of the season. But yeah, a lot of players didn't want to be there, and it feels like LeBron James, the great opportunist, took this, did what he does as the great opportunist, and said, you know, if I can power through this and figure out a way to steal me a championship, this will be another chip, and this is the perfect time because a lot of players don't even want to be here. So part of it felt that way. But at the end of the day, here's the biggest reason why this championship is not respected because of LeBron. Fanboys, have a seat. Learn something. This is very important. The reason people don't respect it is because of the reputation of LeBron James. It's because the reputation LeBron James, or lack of reputation, LeBron James built for himself in the league up to that point. What do I mean by that? Let's say Michael Jordan. Let's say the pandemic happened in 98. So prior to 98, Michael Jordan had a three-peat and he had a two-peat. In 98, he was going for that three-peat. And let's say the pandemic happened in 98 and all the circumstances that happened in 2020 happened in 98. People had to quarantine. They had to make special circumstances. A lot of players didn't want to play, but, you know, they chose to go on with the season, and Chicago ended up winning. Now, that would be a different scenario. Now, why is that? Because up until that point, Michael Jordan had proved that he could win through all circumstances. Michael Jordan had proved that he can carry a team to a championship. Michael Jordan had proved that he doesn't just take the easy way out. Michael Jordan had proved that he doesn't take shortcuts. Michael Jordan had proved that he works on his game and his leadership. Michael Jordan had proved that he can win championships the right way. He had already proved that he can win championships the right way. So if special circumstances come about And Michael Jordan, who was 5-0 at that point, wins his 6th championship during some unusual circumstances. Well, people can point to the fact that, hey, look, is this a surprise that the guy who's 5-0 in the finals won when they decided to go on with the season? Is this a surprise? No, because Michael Jordan has proven he could win the right way. So, LeBron James fanboys, you see where this is going. Now's your chance to click off. The reason why we don't respect 2020 mostly is because LeBron James has yet to prove he can win a championship the right way. LeBron James has yet to prove that he can win a championship without stacking the deck. LeBron James has yet to prove that he can go through the grind to win a championship. So when your 3 previous championships are a two-peat with a super team that you were claiming you were gonna win 8 championships and upset in quotation marks with another super team with Kyrie and Kevin Love that you may not have got had it not been for the suspension of Draymond Green and the injury of Andrew Bogut. When those are your previous championships, why would we give you the benefit of the doubt for a championship where a lot of players didn't even want to be there? For a championship where the circumstances were so different because there weren't fans in the stands. And again, we've talked about this before. We all know, if you ever played sports, you all know those players who in practice they couldn't miss, but in a game they couldn't hit. Because there are certain players who can deal with the pressure of being in front of the audience, and there are certain players that can't. There are players who are bench players and role players that you would be surprised if you saw them in practice. You would be like, man, how isn't this guy a superstar? But that's what separates the superstars, is the guys who can deal with the pressure. So in the 2020 Bubble Championship, you're playing in empty arenas. So we saw guys who normally didn't look that good look better than they ever have before because there wasn't the pressure of being in front of an audience. The circumstances were so different. And so, yes, and this is my personal opinion, is yes, I believe LeBron James saw this as an opportunity. Again, LeBron James, the aging player with Anthony Davis, who is known as street clothes because he stays injured so much, got a break at the perfect time to rest up before coming back, only playing a few games before the playoffs started. I believe LeBron James did what he did as a gold digger, as someone who's always looking for an advantage, as the opportunist, and said, hey, man, a lot of players don't want to be here, and everybody's confused, and all this stuff is going on, and all this political stuff is going on. I think if I can just stay focused, this may be the perfect time for me to get another championship, because everybody's mind is somewhere else, but mine is on my legacy. Everybody's worried about the fate of the world, but I'm worried about the fate of my legacy. Yes, this is what I believe, and this is why absolutely I believe, yes, the reason it is disrespected most is because LeBron James. It's because his reputation that he made for himself. It's kind of just like when he was on the Pat McAfee show and was complaining about he doesn't get as many foul calls. And the first thing I thought, well, no kidding, because the referees, you set a reputation with the referees that you flop all the time. No kidding. If I was a referee, I wouldn't even look for a foul call for you. Because I would feel like, oh, this guy's trying to make a fool out of me. I mean, seriously, it has to be an insult to a referee. And don't get me wrong, I feel like these referees in this current NBA are just as terrible as the product and the players. But again, just, from an objective standpoint, if I was a referee and I knew certain players flopped all the time, I would take that as an insult. So yes, LeBron James' reputation, this is the reason. Your reputation, it catches up with you. And people start to see you, oh, well, this guy been cheating to get the 3 championships he got. Why would we give him the benefit of this bubble ring? Why would we do that? It doesn't even make sense. And so LeBron James fanboys, if you guys haven't learned anything else, is that, maintaining a good reputation is very important. It is very important for your future. And so, if people start looking at you like a clown in the future, that's because you've been a clown in the past. That's because you've been a clown in the past, fanboys. So yeah, like I said, had anybody else won that chip, I believe it would be more respected. Again, it can't help but have an asterisk just due to the circumstances. But if anybody else had won it, it would be more respected than the Duck having won it. And, it's kind of like, hey, LeBron James, you made your bed, now lay in it. People are going to doubt you for a lot of stuff because of the way you have went about your career. You don't get the benefit of the doubt anymore. But anyway, we're going to hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think of Daryl Morey's comments? Do you think ultimately the 2020 bubble chip deserved an asterisk? And even more importantly, do you believe that it is disrespected because LeBron James won it? And is that rightfully so? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.